Nurse Hannah is a family channel owner who has recently sparked controversy from the suspicious flinching that can be seen from her baby in their TikToks.
That's a trauma response.
So, Nurse Hannah is a licensed nurse practitioner who also is a social media influencer. Barely. And she normally posts like vlog-style content about running her family and also working as a nurse. Now I'm going to show you the video very quickly that gifted her the popularity she currently has. It's like the 17 diapers video. I'm sure a lot of you have already heard of it, but before we do that, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We've got some big things planned for the next year. I'm sure you've already noticed, but I've got a new lens for the camera that I've always wanted, and that's all on you, so I truly do appreciate the support. And if you want to be a part of the channel, I reckon that'd be pretty epic. Anyway, we'll talk about Nurse Hannah now. So here's her magnum opus.
Let's pick up all the dirty diapers I have lying around my house right now. I kid you not, my guess is probably 15. I don't own a diaper pail or a diaper genie or whatever they're called. They just kind of get thrown around my house and then we just collect them in a bag at the end of the day and take them out to the dumpster. So I've been solo parenting for the last 24 hours, so we're gonna see how many dirty diapers we have just lying around with 2 kids. I promise you, I'm not even exaggerating, this has only been 24 hours. So I'm counting just 4 diapers right here on the coffee table. I think if I counted right, that's 17 diapers lying around my house. No wonder my house friggin' stinks right now.
So the responses to this video were pretty split. There are a lot of people talking about how disgusting and dirty it was to leave 17 dirty diapers around the house. But then, on the other side, there are a bunch of people talking about how it's almost empowering because everyone has these moments where everything goes to shit and they sort it out and they pick themselves back up. Now, me personally, I think that it's just content and she purposefully left that amount of dirty diapers for this video specifically because, I mean, if you're changing the diapers already, you're changing 17 dirty diapers, you've done the hard bit. Just fucking put them in the bin. It's just confusing to me. Especially on the coffee table. Like, why would you change the diaper and then leave it on the coffee table? But anyway, whether or not this was intentional, because there's a lot of speculation as to, like, whether this girl is rage baiting, but this started a trend known as the 17 diapers trend. So, 17 diapers became a big thing. Sounds like the world's shittest Christmas song. I don't even understand why you'd wait till the end of the day to collect all the diapers instead of just doing it as the day goes. People collect gold on Clash of Clans more efficiently than this woman cleans the fucking diapers in her house. And I don't know, the smile on her face and the way she presents it, it's almost as though she's proud of the fact that there's 17 diapers laying around the house. There's no part of this, in my opinion, that constitutes or implies like look, we all go through this struggle, it was a bad couple of days, and, you know, this just happened to happen. But because of the popularity this video garnered, I don't know whether or not she was expecting it, but she put a follow-up basically explaining everything and, I guess, justifying it.
17 diapers exploded so much more than I ever thought it would.
If the 17 diapers exploded, you've got a bigger problem on your hands there, love.
Because of that, I have quite a few surprises coming. Number 1 being that I started a YouTube channel. The other surprises are unfortunately still in the works, but you're gonna have to follow my YouTube channel in order to see what's coming. So far right now on my YouTube channel, I'm just working on getting all of my TikToks up on my YouTube channel. That way we can just match TikTok and YouTube and have all the same
Do you think she has a YouTube channel? I'm not sure. She's not quite mentioned it enough.
That way we can just match TikTok and YouTube and have all the same stuff. But once I do all of that, then I'll be able to post all the juicy, good, new, exciting stuff about 17 diapers.
The juicy, good, new, exciting stuff about 17 diapers. I don't know about you, but that sort of promo doesn't exactly spark my interest. It doesn't prick my ears up. It doesn't tickle my nose. It doesn't clean my bumhole exactly. Like, I'm not listening to that going, ooh, I want to hear about the juice, the juice about these diapers, these disgusting fucking diapers.
A lot of people tell me to trademark it, put it in an LLC. Some people are telling me to write a book. Some people are telling me to start a podcast. Some people are suggesting podcasts that I should be on. I know some of you guys are sick of me talking about 17 diapers and saying that it's rage bait and saying that it's just annoying. Some people are saying that I did it just for attention, but unfortunately those are the people that are also shaming me for it, so I don't really believe into any of that. In all reality, we all have our 17 diapers moments. And I'm working on some really exciting stuff that I'm really excited to share with you guys. I'm not gonna tell you when I'm gonna announce it, but I will announce it first on YouTube. Make sure you're following me on YouTube so you don't miss it. The link is in my bio. Make sure you get the right account because I'm pretty sure there's some actual scam accounts out there about me.
I guess at the end of the day, this video is just her capitalizing off of a popular video that went viral and she's going, oh, this is the perfect chance to promote my other stuff, right? It's fair enough, I guess. Her saying that we've all had our 17 diapers moments is definitely her playing into the trend that this caused. I'll play a couple TikToks now. My My 17 diapers was when I screamed at my son and threw him on the bed at 5 months old because he just wouldn't sleep. I was exhausted, hadn't showered in 2 days, slept a total of 6 hours the whole week, and didn't realize what I was experiencing was pee-pee rage. Now, if that's the way you interpret the video, that's fine, right? I understand how people could see it that way. And it is true that everyone does have these moments that they aren't too proud of, but it would be very different, in my opinion, if the woman on this TikTok set her camera up and went, "Hey everyone, today I'm gonna be throwing my baby onto the bed in pure anger. And if you want to see more of me screaming at my 5-month-old baby and throwing them onto things, then subscribe to my YouTube channel." Now look, one other thing we should mention about this diapers video here is that Nurse Hannah never says in the original that this is like a one-off case or that she's going through something at the minute. The way she describes the situation is completely as though this is something like a regular occurrence, because she goes, "Ooh, how many diapers are on my fucking coffee table? How many diapers can we find lying around the house? Like it's treasure, like there's a treasure chest that's just being carried around and every now and then a bit of gold slips out or whatever." In my opinion, it seems to me as though she has later on found out that people are taking it in such a, like, "Oh, we all have these moments" sort of manner, and then she has retroactively gone back and said, like, "My video was an empowering video to show that we all have to go through struggles in life, but we can overcome them." I don't think the original video was made with that in mind at all. I think it was just a TikTok video that she was posting because she just wants to post daily TikTok videos and she couldn't think of anything to fucking do that day. So the best thing she could think of was, let me plant some literal shit around my house and pick it up for you to watch. But anyway, as I'm sure you've all derived from the intro of this video as well as just the recent drama, I'm sure you've all heard of it, this is not the only thing that this woman is guilty of, right? She isn't being cancelled for leaving a couple dirty diapers on her coffee table. No, she's actually being cancelled at the minute for this video, which has caused a lot of speculation. Now, I think this goes without saying, but this is a re-upload of Nurse Hannah's video. I don't think Nurse Hannah would upload this video with this really sad, somber music in the background. I also appreciate how whoever re-uploaded this video circled around the bit we should be paying attention to, as though there's nothing else going on. We're not looking at the fucking vending machines in the back, are we? But yeah, as you can see, there's a visibly big reaction from the baby who is being given cereal or whatever the fuck is happening. And the majority of TikTok has seen this video and come to the conclusion, oh my god, this kid must be being abused, something must be going on for a reaction that strong to have happened there. And a lot of stuff like this has been going out in response to it to like prove that baby should not react this way. Now, to be honest, my initial reaction to this whole thing wasn't as dramatic as a lot of people's were, because in my opinion, it was more of a, like, kids are different, every baby has different reactions to certain things. They also weren't in the house in that comfortable situation that the baby's used to. They were out in a shopping center, which, I don't know, maybe the baby's more panicked there for whatever reason, and so they were, like, heightened alertness, heightened awareness, a bit more scared of everything that could be happening. Maybe it's just a one-off scenario. Like, I think it's very judgmental and very presumptuous to assume physical abuse, physical violence, purely based off of one TikTok where the baby looks a bit scared and has a bit of a big reaction. Now, that being said though, the baby does look fucking terrified when that box of cereal goes into the shopping trolley. So much so that I am genuinely confused as to why they even posted the video, because having garnered that much attention, especially as a nurse, she should probably know, like, oh, this is not gonna look good, is it? But there's been a lot of responses, a lot of scientific responses to this, weirdly enough, and also a lot of, like, just personal experience, so we'll go through some of them, and hopefully we can come to, like, a more educated conclusion by the end of this.
I see everybody doing the flinch testing. I have 3 toddlers. I tried it out this morning. For one, I don't post my children's faces, but I will be reenacting them.
Now, to touch on that for 1 second, yeah, it is weird that they're posting their babies' faces online, but you know what? I've talked about this so much before. If you've seen any of my videos, you probably know where I stand on that, so I'm not going to bore you by talking about it again. Long story short, there is a way to do it tastefully, but if your content revolves around your children, and your whole career is based around having a child and life with that child or whatever, and you're posting their face religiously, yeah, I do think there is something fishy about that. And Nurse Hannah, later on in her career, talks about how she wants privacy for her children or whatever, and it's like, you should have thought of that before you made your entire career around your child, if that makes sense, but more on that later.
I am not trying to blame Hannah, but maybe she should look around who's around her child that has her child acting this way. Maybe it's not her, maybe it's someone else. because that definitely is a trauma response.
So a lot of the mothers who were responding to this situation have a sort of similar mentality to this woman right here. And a lot of people are saying it like without any shadow of a doubt. There is no reasonable doubt here. It is definitely a trauma response, according to them. I'm not so sure. But I do think it is a valid point that it doesn't necessarily mean, even if it is a trauma response, that it is Nurse Hannah doing the abuse, so to speak. It could very much be someone around them. Maybe there's a nanny. Maybe it's the father and it's going under her nose, or maybe it's not. There's so many variables in this situation that are truly unknown. I will say, though, there is one particularly interesting video that has also been doing the rounds recently that I do find disturbing, to say the least. Once again, this is a re-upload, so the music is very, very depressing. It was not like this in the original, obviously. So the kid's going in to pick up some chips or whatever, and the dad, instead of like, I don't know, politely moving his hand away, or just maybe telling him like, hey, get your fucking hand out of the shot, you wee little shit! I mean, that probably wouldn't have been great either, but we wouldn't have heard it because it's voiceover, right? The original audio wasn't in the video, so he could have done that and it would have been just fine. We wouldn't know any better. But the conscious choice to like flick his son's finger away like it's a housefly, and then to also include that in the final edit, maybe there is an element of rage bait there, because Nurse Hannah keeps putting shots in her video of her child being, I guess, mistreated, to put it lightly. Like, that isn't a good look, objectively, no matter who you are. Flicking your child's hand away like that, like they're fucking vermin, isn't the best look ever. It's something that, if you're thinking correctly, you would just cut out of the video. I don't know if I'm mental, I don't know if I'm not thinking straight, so you can let me know in the comments, but in my opinion, everyone here would have cut that out of their TikTok if they, you know, had got that shot. And the fact that they didn't, rightfully, has led some people to think that this is such a normal occurrence to them. This is so normal in their minds that it just happens all the time and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, when you strip it down to its bare bones, the kid just wanted a fucking chip. Or a French fry, whatever you silly Americans call them. Like, why can't the kid have it? It's fucking weird. Let him have a chip, man.
I'm talking about my point of view. From somebody who was severely, when I mean severely abused when I was a child, that's a sign of abuse. Every time my aunt will come near me, I will flinch. Every time my uncle will come near me, I will flinch. Even though it was just to shake my hand or give me something, I would genuinely flinch. Because that's what I got used to.
Okay, so based on all the responses here, based on all the mothers, based on all the people who have been abused, or just there's a lot of experiences here, none of them think that this is in any way a good sign. I don't want to sit here and say definitively that this child is being abused, especially by the people raising him, but I think we can say without any shadow of a doubt that this isn't a good sign. Like, maybe it's not a bad sign, maybe it's not like the worst thing in the world that the child's flinching, but it definitely is not a good thing. It's not a sign that the kid is going through the motions the way that it should ideally be doing so. I think that much is pretty safe to say, right? Anyway, this TikToker who goes by the name Madeline Cameron is actually a behavioral health technician. And not only that, but she also works with children specifically, so her opinion, in my opinion, will hold a bit more weight than a lot of the people who are just giving sort of anecdotal experience or their opinion as mothers, if that makes sense. Not that those opinions are irrelevant. I think, you know, it's cool. It's definitely good to add that bit of personal experience in there, but somebody with this sort of knowledge, this sort of like expertise, I think can definitely add a lot of validity to the conversation, a lot more scientifically backed commentary, if that makes sense.
That's a trauma response. I'm gonna do my best to be like Jen Hamilton right now and tell you. My name is Maddie. I worked as a BHT for several years with kids all the way from ages like 3 to 18 who had severe SHSI, abuse, neglect, everything you could think of, okay? I'm not a doctor, therapist, nurse, trauma, nothing. I was a BHT. We spent up to 14 hours or more with those same kids every single day during their treatment stays. One of the things we saw all the time was if we moved too quickly, they would jerk. It's a fight or flight trauma, the look in their eyes. When I saw that video, I immediately flashed back to being on the pre-ad unit whenever I would get in a hurry cleaning up toys and one of the kids would happen to be by me and I would like move too quickly and they would do that. The whole world's not turning on you right now. They're not clout chasing. They're not trying to get views.
So that's interesting. If somebody moves quickly, there's like a sharp response, then there's a a variable flinch, like a fear of what's about to come, which in my opinion is noteworthy because the cereal box or whatever it was being put onto the trolley was not a quick, jerky movement. It was a very slow passing of the cereal box. But that alone was enough to make the baby visibly fearful, like whether or not it's a trauma response, whether or not the baby's being abused. In that moment, the baby is undoubtedly scared that something bad is about to happen to it. I think that much is a fact. You don't put your arms up and guard your face when you're bracing yourself for a hug or a warm embrace, do you?
I've not followed you. I don't always see eye to eye with your social media. As you know what, I'm sure people don't see eye to eye with me. I know some people find me really freaking annoying, and but as a human, I've watched your patterns on social media where you kind of like rage bait. And I get that social media is fake, right? We show highlight reels. We don't always show what's actually happening. I don't care if you claim it's satire. I don't care if what you actually did on camera wasn't actually what happened. I get it. What I do care about is that you're watching out for that sweet baby, because so many people are trying to tell you and say, just pay attention to who he's around because of the reaction of that video. I cannot reiterate this enough. This is a common reaction we used to see all the time. And when I saw that video, I can immediately think of the exact children I saw do that on the unit. I'm trying to pull a Jen Hamilton here and just explain this as neutral and calm and nice and genuine as I can. Please watch who that sweet baby is around. The whole world is trying to get your attention to tell you that.
Yeah, so I think without doubt this is the best response video to that entire situation. And I will say she does bring up an interesting point about Nurse Hannah's sort of pattern of behavior, because if this was the one thing that people had seen and people were worried about, I don't think it would be as big of a thing. But the fact that she has consistently over the years, over the months, I don't know how long she's been on the internet. I'm not a habitual Nurse Hannah fan, surprisingly enough. It's just the fact that it's controversy after controversy. First it was the shit on the coffee table, then it was you're not allowed to eat any chips there, young boy, and now it's the baby flinching when you hand it a box of cereal. When you put all these things together, it definitely paints a more menacing picture, because the baby's not a paid actor here. I highly doubt that they've talked to the child and been like, hey man, when we give you this box of cereal, act as though we're about to fucking deck you, because man, it's gonna go so viral, we're gonna get so many views and clicks on TikTok. And even if that is what these people were doing, I don't think that makes this morally justifiable at all, by the way. Like, even if the baby was genuinely an actor here and everything was perfectly planned, it's like, why are you using your child for rage bait on fucking TikTok, you pleb? But rage bait in and of itself is like a whole thing. Sometimes it's fine, sometimes I feel like, you know what, just fucking do your thing. But don't involve children, especially your own children, in the whole thing, because you are making the internet believe, this is your child here, and you are coercing the internet to believe that there is abuse going on, that your child is being physically harmed in some way or another, whether it be by you or some third party in this whole situation. And if you've done that, if you've manufactured that storyline as like a fake thing to get TikTok clout, then yeah, you're a piece of shit. But once again, I don't think that is what's happening here. I think there are elements of rage bait in her content, like the 17 diapers thing looks manufactured as fuck, but there's no way that this baby's like an actor, in my opinion. Like, the look of genuine terror on its face from the... Maybe he just doesn't like cereal very much, to be fair to him. Like, if somebody handed me a pack of Cocoa Pops, I'd probably have a similar reaction. I fucking hate Cocoa Pops. They were okay until Jamie Oliver got his hands on them, by the way. Now look, there's a bunch of other videos of Nurse Hannah potentially mistreating her child. A lot of people have looked into the little details and seen after this thing went big, especially, like, other sort of misdemeanors and things that slip through the cracks, right? Little bits of anger that have slipped through the cracks, because she uploads so fucking often that there's no way she can portray and present a perfectly innocent image if something sinister is actually going on. And Nurse Hannah has released a response to this entire situation, but I feel like we should go over some of those videos before that so that we can get a wider picture look at the whole thing, at the whole parenting techniques before we listen to her side of things. Here's another one, for example, that people have been picking out.
You guys will not believe this video that one of my followers sent me, and honestly, I'm shocked. Please tell me if it looks like this girl did this on purpose.
And this video is by Jessica Regan, who's been doing some really great coverage of this whole thing, not only as a mother of 3, but also as someone in nursing, so she has a lot of credibility as well.
Well, if this right here doesn't say struggle bus this morning, I don't know what will. You know, I was rushing this morning to go get my hair done, and I was trying to be a nice mom and make pancakes, and you know what? It just ended up with James falling off the chair. I mean, he was fine afterwards, but he did just cry and sob for a good chunk of time after.
I'll be honest, before we listen to this lassie's commentary on this video, I'll say what I think. If your baby falls off the table like that, and it's quite a dramatic fall, the reaction, in my opinion, should not be one of annoyance. It should be one of, holy shit, oh my fucking god, are you okay? Is your head okay? Is everything fine? Not like, oh, for fuck's sake, It's so annoying when my baby falls over and hurts itself. You've ruined the shot in this video, you wee little bastard. Like, this was meant to be a cute video of me cutting this cucumber up and putting it in a salad, and you've gone and fallen over and fucking ruined everything. Maybe turn your bastard phone off and take care of your child who's just fallen off the table. Maybe, just maybe, that might be a better response to looking genuinely annoyed by it.
Rage baiting Hannah, cut the bullshit. Did not just pull that chair away from your son. Hit the fall with a knife, fake knife, in his hand, and be annoyed that he got hurt on camera. And making your kid pancakes isn't being a good mom. You're feeding your child. You're gonna pull the chair away from your child and him fall, get hurt, and then you be mad because you want to go get your hair done. Not Nurse Hannah, not 17 diapers Hannah. You're rage baiting Hannah. A few more videos of Nurse Hannah that you guys will be shocked to see. Let me know what you guys think about this.
Holy shit, I didn't even notice that, but she's absolutely right. Nurse Hannah pulls the chair away from the baby and makes it fall over. If you're annoyed, the only person you should be annoyed at is yourself. Your baby's not fucking Homelander, it can't fly. This is legitimately like that scene off of The Boys though, when Homelander pushes his kid off the roof and expects him to fly and it just falls flat on his face. And Homelander's reaction, ironically enough, is pretty similar to Nurse Hannah's reaction, just mildly annoyed. Now, if your parenting style in any way, shape, or form can be compared to Homelander from The Boys, I don't think you're doing the best job in the world, but maybe that's brave of me to say, who knows. And also, she's totally right. You're not being a nice mother by making your child pancakes, you're just being a mother. Like, good parents don't make their children food. That's what every parent should do. You're doing the bare minimum by cooking for your child. Like, even bad parents usually make food for their fucking children. And I always hate that shit. This is something that happens with loads of influencers on the internet. I'm such a good mum. I cook them food. I put a roof over their heads. My parents have tried to pull this shit before when I like try to critique them. They're like, we give you everything. We give you food. We give you shelter. We give you money. And I'm like, oh, what? You mean what every fucking parent should be doing to their child? You did the bare minimum, yeah? No hate on my parents, by the way. Do not take that the wrong way. They watch these videos as well. I love you, mama.
Feel bad, so I did give him a tiny little piece. Because honestly, this will probably be his lunch because it's already past nap time. So when we go home, we're going straight to bed.
Why wouldn't you just get him a Happy Meal on the way home?
Doesn't mess around with nap time. We are not missing nap time around here. It was such a beautiful day and we had to go outside to the
Okay, but wait, look, I'm actually so confused because why would you not just get him a Happy Meal on the way home? Why does he have another mark on his face? Why did you not pack anything knowing you were going to the park for a couple hours? You're just giving him a little piece of pastry? When your kids are that age, you're carrying around a diaper bag everywhere. Also, you have a vehicle. You could put things in your car. Why do you have no food for him?
Thank you, XOXO Gossip Mum 1, for basically doing my job for me. There's nothing more I can add to that video. It is a load of shite. Like, why are you giving your kid a wee bit of pastry when you knew the outline of the day? Like, you didn't just wake up and go, oh my god, what the fuck? Why is it 7 p.m? It was like 1 p.m. an hour ago. Time works the same way every day. You know when the nap time is. You know when eating time is. Give your child a fucking meal. What is it with these parents not wanting their children to eat chips? Now, in relation to the mark on the baby, I don't think that's a big deal at all. Maybe it just fell over or whatever. I think it is very presumptuous, very incriminating to just, like, accuse them of, like, hitting their child or, I don't know, putting them in dangerous situations. I think that is genuinely a little bit too accusatory, in my opinion. Once again, it's not a good sign, but it does not imply anything sinister is going on particularly. There's other shit for that. Now, one other thing that isn't mentioned by XOXO Gossip Mum 1 is that the child's belt is not even buckled in correctly. Like, yeah, the seatbelt is on, I guess, but it's not on correctly. It might as well be off. And it's not as though the car is stationary. Like, they are driving and the kid's seatbelt isn't even on.
See how it's not buckled in? Now look how she's moving and the scenery's moving. If you look in between her arms, you can tell that to me it looks like the child was not buckled in still. And why does James have another cut on his face?
This is one of the situations where, whether or not it be rage bait, whether or not it's manufactured or a bit of acting, your child's seatbelt is not on correctly whilst you are driving. No matter what the situation is, that is bad. And once again, the fact that you would post the video knowing that, seeing that, put it through the edit, and post it proudly, you not feeding your child correctly and them not being buckled in, boggles my tiny fucking mind.
I'm a mom to an 18-month-old, and I'm sorry, but a pat on the bum doesn't hurt them, it helps them on the long run. Let's get ready and talk controversial ways that I parent my kid. My son will grow up knowing that he's a boy and be raised as a boy, and he will know exactly what that entails. No co-sleeping of any kind. We'll like lay on the couch and cuddle, but when it comes to like actual sleep, I'm a mom to an 18-month-old, and I'm sorry, but a pat on the bum.
Okay, excuse the video of, like, peanut butter being put into wee squares on the side. I don't know why TikTokers do this. I don't know if it helps with engagement or whatever, but it is just a thing that we'll have to deal with for this one. But anyway, that is interesting, and that is very important, I think, that she is openly admitting that they do spank their child at the very least. So there is physical punishments going on here. The child is being hit to some degree. Like, yeah, she does say pat on the bum. Obviously, it's not a fucking pat on the bum. It's not a dog. I don't want to hear anyone talking shit. She is openly admitting there that they, at the very least, spank their child. Now, I'm not going to accuse them of doing anything more than that. I'm just going to say they have admitted to doing that, so for sure that is happening. And that is potentially an explanation as to why the child is flinching so much when he sees the box of cereal, for example, because physical punishments are not something new, something foreign to this household. Now, look, there's a big debate in, like, the parenting community, or parents all over the world, about whether or not it's okay to hit your child in any circumstance, or where you hit them, or what kind of hits are okay, or is it okay to even just grab their ear for a little bit. In my opinion, I think the safest option for parenting a child is to use the minimal amount of physical force necessary, which ideally would be none at all. But I wouldn't really judge a parent too much, for example, for at one point in their parenting career, so to speak, using some sort of physical punishment on the child. I think there are certain situations where potentially it could be justified or fine, right? Obviously, there's a limit to that. Like, you should not be beating your child in any fucking situation. But yeah, the main takeaway from that is that there is definitely physical punishments going on in this family. Any denial of that from this point on would be a straight up lie. Like, she is admitting it here.
No co-sleeping of any kind. We'll like lay on the couch and cuddle, but when it comes to like actual sleeping, he sleeps in his crib, we sleep in our bed. This encourages independent sleeping, and now my son sleeps 14 hours at night. Along the lines of sleeping, we started sleep training at 4 months old, and honestly, I think we should have started it a little sooner. When it comes to vaccines and giving medications to my kid, I do so much research, and I'm so hesitant with all of it.
I'm not a fan of that one, let me tell you. You should definitely be vaccinating your child. Anti-vaxxers are not only wrong, but they're obviously wrong. I don't know if she's alluding to vaccines causing autism or whatever, and I'm not saying that every vaccine is completely risk-free or whatever, but I will say it's not worth your kid getting measles, mumps, or rubella. If there's anything to take away from this video, vaccinate your fucking children. And if she's doing as much research as she claims to be doing, then she'll come to that conclusion as well, in my opinion. Anyway, now it's time for the big daddy, the responses to end all responses. Does it start with a sigh? Does she begin by saying, I really didn't want to make this video? Well, we're about to see, let me tell you.
So the fact that I even have to address this right now is kind of insane. Social media is just, it's a scary place, and I never understood people that much when they said they couldn't share their kids' faces online, or they couldn't share much about their kids. I didn't really understand it, but it's crazy.
Insane, crazy. The fact that she has to respond is just that mind-bogglingly mental. I don't know if those are words that I would use to describe this situation. You have publicly admitted that hitting is a form of punishment in your household, and your kid has flinched like a madman when a box of cereal approached his face. I don't think it's that mental that you are having to respond to people who, rightfully so, are slightly worried, because you have consistently shown yourself to display some worrying parenting in your videos. I've just clocked now, by the way. Jesus Christ, we've covered so many horrible mothers on this channel in the past few days. I don't want to alienate new audience members or whatever. This is not a channel about mothers. But I guess 2024 is just the year of groomers and horrible mothers. It be what it be.
This whole lazy husband thing, it's satire. My husband is the sweetest, nicest, kindest, most loving, most nurturing father in the entire world. He is playing on the ground with James like 90% of the day. If that man is not laughing, having fun, teasing him, playing with him, whatever it is, then I don't know, then something's wrong, because those two have the strongest bond, the strongest father-son bond that I know of anyone else. And it makes me really sad that social media has turned it into something, or me, maybe it's, I don't know, maybe that's, it makes me sad that I guess I've turned it into something like that.
Wow, what a perfectly planned and coherent response this is. I'm sorry, right, but your baby flinched a lot, and people think that there is potentially abuse going on in the family, physical abuse. Write some fucking notes down or something before you make your bastard response, in my opinion. Should probably be a little bit more concise, a little bit more structured than this. You're not giving your opinion on Starbucks cups and sizes in fucking Burger King. This is your child here.
In the video that you guys are all freaking out about, they're just playing. They're always playing. They're always playing where they scare each other. James is obsessed with dinosaurs and bears, and when they look away and they come back and they scare each other, and they play, like when they throw something, they'll play throw it, you know, you like psych them out, you know, and they flinch and whatever. Like, That's what they're always doing. They're always like hiding behind couches and jumping at each other and chasing each other around the house and up the stairs and down the stairs and tackling each other. They're always playing, constantly, to the point where like, if I'm trying to talk to my husband, I can't because he's always playing with my son.
I'm not too sure about that one, Mrs. Nurse Hannah. It does not look like they are playing there. And if that's the reaction to the playing that goes on in the family, then I'm not sure if the playing is as innocent as you're making it out to be. You can call me controversial for saying this, but in my opinion, when you're playing with somebody, they tend to be smiling, laughing, enjoying it maybe like open body language. They're not guarding themselves, fucking terrified of what's about to come. His reaction was more akin to boxing than playing. I don't know about you, but I would have been a lot more convinced if she went on camera and talked about, look, I know it looks bad. She acknowledged that, yes, it does look bad that the kid's flinching that much. But then she went on to say something along the lines of, the reason we kept it in the video is because it's very normal for James to react like that. He's always been quite an anxious kid. There's no physical abuse going on in the family. There's nothing you need to worry about. We're very careful about who we put James around. We know about everything that goes on around him, and he's just anxious naturally. He always has that sort of reaction and nothing bad's going on. It's just how he is. In my opinion, that would have been a lot more convincing, and I'm not saying she should have said that because maybe that's not actually how it is. Maybe she would be lying if she went on camera and said that. But I don't know, it's just, I guess it's what I was hoping for when I clicked on this video.
No, I don't really owe anyone an explanation. I could just be like everybody else, and when stuff like this happens, I could just keep quiet, and I thought about keeping quiet, just kind of letting it blow over. But I thought, I don't want that. I don't even want the thought of that out there. I don't want anyone to suspect anything, that anyone to be questioned whatsoever, that me or my husband, that we do not love our children, that we do not treat them with anything other than love. Like, it's crazy.
Nice bit of moral high ground there. We could have stayed silent. I could have done what every other fucking influencer on this website does and stayed silent. But because I'm such a good person and good mother and good nurse and good influencer, I'm one of the good ones, guys. Look at me doing the right thing. Just leave it out. Respond to the situation. Talk about how you're not doing anything bad and fucking cut. That should be a wrap. You don't need to talk about how good you are.
There's nothing going on.
Yeah, look, there's no smile from the kid at any point there. Like, even when the initial fear dissipates, it doesn't go from fear to, ooh, ha ha ha, you're such a goofball. It's fear the whole time.
Sometimes over, that's just how the babies just know it.
Well, fucking hell, that didn't look very loving, did it? She just sort of plopped the baby on the ground with no real care, like it was a hot dog.
This whole lazy husband thing. It's satire.
I'd never clocked it before. I mean, I knew that he didn't want the kid to eat any chips. I can see you fiddling on in the background. I mean, I knew the dad didn't want the baby to eat any chips. This family kind of got a thing about that. But I didn't realize just how much effort he was putting into making sure that kid does not get any sustenance on that dinner table.
Man won't get off his phone, or he thinks he's so much busier than me and can't take care of the kids. Like,
my husband is the sweetest.
Sorry, sir, you're at home. You're not working.
Nicest, kindest, most loving.
You can take care of the kids just as much as I can.
Most nurturing father in the entire world. Is the strongest father-son bond that I know of anyone else. It makes me really sad that social media has turned it into something, or me. Maybe.
That video was cut amazingly. Big up Jessica for that edit because it's fucking class. Like, look, I know she said it was satire, the whole lazy husband thing. Oh, it's just a big joke, but there were no jokes told there. She's just straight up telling us her annoyances with her husband being absent and not around enough. There was no punchline. It wasn't like, knock knock, who's there? Absent fucking father who's never around enough. I guess if that happened, there'd be like sort of an explanation. Oh, it's just a joke. It's satire. It's not satire if you just say something is happening with no joke or no implication of commentary around it at all. If that was the case, you could just imply that everything is satire. It's like if I came on video and admitted with no hint of irony that I murdered 10 dogs. And then people started commenting, questioning why I murdered those dogs. I can't then just go on camera and be like, guys, it was a joke. I didn't actually murder any dogs. You're not supposed to believe me when I say things. What the hell? It just sounds to me like she's made this career out of being a mother, this family channel vlogger or whatever the fuck, and just gone, you know what? Everything good I do, you can accept that. All that's real. But if you ever disagree with something or ever think I'm doing something bad, all those things are jokes, right? We can discover what they are at the end, but all the things you disagree with me with, they're jokes. Those are satire. But all the good things, no, those are real. I do all those. It just isn't good enough, in my opinion.
When I called out Nurse Hannah for her 17 nappies, you guys cooked me. You cooked me, you told me, oh, no, you don't know about postpartum, you don't have no plan, no.
Big up Shenface for this video that we're about to watch of a fellow Brit who uses the correct term for diapers, by the way. They're nappies here. It's taken every bone in my body to not call them nappies in this video, but yeah, they're called nappies here. But because I love my American audience so goddamn much, I will continue to use the term diapers. I expect a fucking thank you for it, by the way.
When people portray certain behaviours, they have escalation points, right? And way too many of you as mothers, you like to excuse other people's neglect towards their children because you like to rally together and make excuses. That's why you lot all started a trend. My 17 nappies, my 17 nappies, my 17 nappies was this, my 17 nappies was that. I even saw one woman talk about her 17 nappies. Next minute, the social services was at her door. You know why? Because your 17 nappies was neglect. But you got other people coming along and aligning with you like, oh, my 17 nappies. Oh, yeah, I had 17 nappies, making you feel like your neglect is okay. And this is what many of you do as mothers. We're going to call it for what it is. Many of you love to rally together. Instead of you say, you know what, sis, that is actually wrong. Let's try to be the best mums. You like to enable and make an excuse. Everything has a diagnostic or something. No. Call it for what it is. She was neglecting her child when she had him walking around the house, picking up shitty nappies because she had left 17 of them around.
I was thinking it, and I think a lot of us were thinking it, but I didn't want to outright say it in the way that this woman's saying it because I'm not a fucking mother. I don't have 2 children, so in my mind, it's like, man, do I really have the right to criticize people in the way that she's doing right now? But fortunately for me, this woman is a mother. I feel great right now. I feel like she's just sort of jumped in and done my dirty work for me.
As a parent, it is your responsibility to make sure all your children, the ones you just had and the ones that were there prior, are catered for. That is your job, to make sure they're safe, safeguarded, catered for, loved, nurtured, and etc. Your child walking around the house with 17 shitty nappies is neglect. Also, with all that filth around, is neglect. Call it for what it is. The same speed and pace you picked up that camera to let us all know that is the same speed and pace you should have booked in a cleaner. You should have booked in help. Yes, I know it's easier said than it is done.
I mean, she says it's easier said than done, but Nurse Hannah regularly puts videos out basically flexing to her audience about how much money she makes. But there's videos where she talks about, I make 100 grand a year and you could be doing it as well. And there's videos like how to make $3,000 to $5,000 every week. And to anybody with that amount of money, yeah, you can hire a cleaner. Yeah, you can pick up some fucking nap. If you can pick your phone up and prop it up and talk about how many shitty nappies are lying around your house, you can pick the bastard nappies up to begin with. You don't just let them pile up being like, ooh, I'm gonna just leave them be for a bit so that I can make a video at the end of the day. Just pick the bastard nappies up. It's not that entertaining. No one wakes up one day and goes, ooh, I can't wait to see Nursing Hannah pick up her shit nappies from the fucking coffee table. You know, it's really entertaining to me knowing that people drink their coffee 1 meter away from actual shit.
Abusive behaviours. You're seeing the child flinching and that, and you're outraged. She was this type of mum from before. She's been this type of mum. When she sits down eating the takeaways with the baby on her lap, acting as if the other child might not want a chip. Nurse Hannah has been doing these things. And this is why I say, you know, you see, when I see people in certain medical professions not nip these traits in the bud, yeah, I start to realise they go into these roles to nourish their narcissism, their psychopathy, their sociopathy. I'm telling you, she's portrayed these traits, but you lot let it go over your head because you all came on the internet to rally with her and make everybody else think that the forms of neglect that they portray is normal. You lot all acted as if you was joining in it too. My 17 nappies, my 17 nappies. Some of the things that you lot was coming on here announcing when you're parents of multiple is absolutely fucking disgusting. There is postpartum and we know it's hell in there. We can never make no excuse. It can make some women do the most unthinkable things, and I understand, but you still have a duty to those other children. They don't deserve to be suffered and subjected to fuckery. Like, some of you really like to normalize the things that you feel like kids should be resilient to. Do you not notice that's why there's a nation of us that are fucked in the head? BPD, bipolar, this, that, the other, PTSD. Because people made our parents think that the fuckeries that they was exposing us to was normal. It's not normal. That's my take.
Sorry for the long clip, but I fucking love this video. I agree with her on every point here. Go show her some love. Her TikTok's on screen right now. Tell her I sent you because fucking I love that shit. Big up, Shenface. And I don't necessarily agree with the fact of everyone's 17 nappies moment being like an inherently abusive or bad thing, but some people, without doubt, were definitely taking the fucking piss. Like, yes, it's true. Everybody has those moments, especially in postpartum. I could never even begin to imagine how fucking painful and awful and emotional that must be for the women who go through it. And I have no doubt that a lot of people do things that they're not exactly proud of in those moments. But there is a limit to what is acceptable. Like, if you cry a bit, shout a bit, maybe miss one meal for your child on one day out of the year or whatever, fine, fair enough. Everybody fucks up every now and then, right? But when we look back on that first TikTok that we looked at when we talked about this whole trend, it was my 17 diapers was when I screamed at my son and threw him on the bed at 5 months old because he just wouldn't sleep. And I didn't acknowledge it to the extent I should have when we first talked about it. That is not fucking acceptable. That's not a moment of distress or something that you do when you're like particularly sad. That's fucking abuse. You do not throw your child onto the bed and scream at it when it doesn't sleep correctly in the way that you want it to. I'm sorry, I'm aware, I'm not a mother, I have never experienced postpartum rage, I get it. But is it really daring of me to say that I don't find that to be very acceptable? I guess you can tell me in the comments, I'm open to the discussion. I know I said that like a dick, but I do genuinely mean that.
I went to high school with Nurse Hannah, and when I first saw her and saw that she had a lot of followers, I was like, wow, somebody that I kind of sort of not really know. Let me support him. So I followed her. Then she started really pissing me off, first with the way she would talk about long-term care. As somebody who worked in long-term care for many years, it just rubbed me the wrong way. And then the whole, I don't need prenatal care, you don't either, really rubbed me the wrong way, so I blocked her.
Yeah, that's something we haven't talked about at length in this video because I'm just not educated enough on the matter to speak about it in my opinion, but Nurse Hannah was refusing to take prenatal care until she was like 20 weeks pregnant, which is really confusing because as a nurse who is making that much money, you'd think you'd fucking take prenatal care. You'd think at the very least you would understand the importance of doing so. You can't look into your belly with glasses. You don't know everything going on down there. Go to prenatal care, man. Especially if you have the funds to do so, which you clearly do unless you're lying about that as well.
James woke up this morning at 7:30 instead of 8:30, and I was freaking PO'd about that. Just in the span of like the last 2 months, he has gone from waking up at 10:30 in the morning to now 7:30. I mean, I know technically it's like now 7:30 is technically, it used to be 8:30, like it's the same exact time, but just knowing that the clock says 7:30 and I'm out of my bed on a non-work day, yeah.
Sorry, I know that there's something to come in this video, there's like body language or whatever, but what the fuck is this video even about? Like, she's stuttering through every sentence, she's talking about daylight savings or whatever. This would make a horrible podcast. If this woman's on any podcast, that podcast needs removed fucking immediately. And whatever department store sold them the blue snowballs that they probably use also needs shut down as soon as possible. Is this what her content was? I mean, fucking no wonder she didn't get big until she decided to neglect her children. It's the only noteworthy thing she's fucking done in her entire career. And that's not a good thing. It's probably why she continued with the rage bait. She found out that doing bad shit is the only way she'd ever get popular. We talked about this before, but it's always fucking awful when you're financially rewarded for doing horrible things. The Molly Rutter example is the most prominent one I can think of at the minute. She was being financially rewarded for going on bad dates and avoiding long-term relationships because that is what her content is about. Just like this woman's biggest video is leaving 17 diapers around the house. Therefore, now she is being financially rewarded for neglecting her children and performing bad behaviors as a parent, which encourages it. And naturally, as an influencer on TikTok, where, you know, relevancy is fleeting, somebody with silly monkey brain is gonna think, oh, I just need to go further and further with the drama, go further and further with my neglect, be worse and worse as a mother because that's how I make money! It's fucking grim. It's always been grim. I hate family channels so much, man.
Let's all say it together, okay? She is abusing her fucking child. Did you see that poor baby's face? He looks scared of her. Okay, let's backtrack. Did you hear what she was saying in the beginning? That James woke up at 7:30 and instead of 10:30 because he's a fucking 2-year-old? And that pissed her off.
Is that what she said? I didn't hear that bit. Let's go back.
James woke up this morning at 7:30 instead of 8:30, and I was freaking PO'd about that.
Yeah, she did straight up say that. I didn't even clock that. What the fuck? The baby doesn't have the same concept of time that you do. How can you genuinely be pissed off that it's not waking up at the correct time? It's not a machine. It's not a robot. Like, if you told ChatGPT to tell you about waffles and it told you about the fucking Eiffel Tower, yeah, that's a decent reason to be pissed off because the robot is not doing what you told it to do. But even if you tell an actual baby exactly what to do, it doesn't understand English or have the same concept of time or reality that you do. If it doesn't do exactly what you want, that's no reason to be pissed off as a mother.
And don't even get me started about the withholding food. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the maternal instinct in me, and some people just don't fucking have that apparently. But something about a child being hungry just like right in my fucking heart. I like literally watching a documentary about child abuse, and when they start talking about how they withheld food, I'm like, oh my fucking god. What? I feel like that's like your one job as a mother, to fucking nourish your children.
To be fair, she does think she's a nice mother when she cooks her children pancakes, so that does kind of imply that she cooks for her child on the occasion. You know what? I feel like being a good mother today. Maybe I'll give my child some food. That's probably a reach, I know, but it's interesting nonetheless. Big up Brick Whittle for this video, by the way. I want to start giving credit in these videos, so big up. See, that, in my opinion, is what actual playing looks like. Notice how, when the husband is literally trying to scare the child, there's no flinch, there's no fear, there's no, oh my god, what the fuck's about to happen? And this time, there's not even any cereal involved. To me, this is just a clear-cut example of secure attachment style. This is what parenting should look like. And you know what? That's a pretty cute video, so let's end the video on a good note and stop there. As always, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Big up to all my patrons who are scrolling past me right now. I'm genuinely dead curious to see how far we can get that sub count by the end of the year, so if you're not subscribed already, get on that. What's taking you so long? You prick? Probably not a good idea to call you a prick if I want you to subscribe. You're not a prick. I'm sure you're a lovely person, although I don't know that. You know what? Maybe you are a prick, but if you subscribe, you won't be a prick anymore. Ah, there you go. See that? That's what I call marketing. I'm waffling too, but fuck it. The video's over now. Big up. I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye!